Walking the Chartres Labyrinth. Sunday blog 243, 26th of July 2026. It all started with my misunderstanding about the distance between Chartres and Bordeaux. When initially planning my holiday, I mistakenly thought I could walk the Chartres Labyrinth as a cheeky little day trip from my base in Bordeaux. More thorough research showed that these cities are just under 5 hours apart. Then accommodation booking snafus meant I had about 4 days to account for before I could move into my super simper Airbnb with air conditioning and a pool in a Bordeaux satellite area on Barrez-et-Lagrave. So I decided to spend those 4 nights in Chartres before picking up a hire car and driving to Bordeaux and back. I needed to be in Chartres on a Friday in order to tick off my bucket list activity of walking the Chartres Labyrinth. That's the only day of the week that the cathedral removes the chairs. My accommodation was directly opposite, and I mean directly opposite Chartres Cathedral, and I settled in for a glorious 4 days. Bottom left is a snap of me sitting next to the heart of the labyrinth earlier in the week. Once there was a plaque in the centre showing the Minotaur and the Daedalus, the maker of the labyrinth that trapped the monster, but that was ripped up during the French Revolution and used to make a cannon. I must have looked particularly beatific as I sat there, because after a few minutes a nun approached me to tell me of all the treasures in Chartres, not least of which is a morsel of Mary's veil, or perhaps a close approximation of same, sold by a wily entrepreneur, said to have miraculous properties. I came back on the Friday. The chairs were pulled back, middle image, but we were still forbidden to enter. A funeral service took precedence over a bunch of crazy tourists who travelled from afar to walk this beautiful 11th century labyrinth. And then, by 12 o'clock, rather than the advertised time of 10 a.m, we could finally walk its winding path. They say don't meet your heroes, and while there were truly transcendent moments for me shuffling along the path into the labyrinth, whose image is so familiar to me, it's simply too crowded to turn around and walk back out again. But I still have had this walk in this iconic labyrinth. It's one of the few remaining from this period, as cathedrals elected to rip up the wonky floor tiles and add a smoother surface. After the walk, it was time for me to leap into my hire car and make off to Bordeaux, laden with my Chartres souvenirs from this amazing building. Labyrinth fridge magnet? I don't mind if I do. Next Sunday, I will fill you in, dear reader, with the drive to Bordeaux. What indeed could possibly go wrong with that?